Welcome back to the Bullpen Mafia. We are joined today by the analyst for the Miami Marlins for FanDuel Sports Network, former Miami Marlin, former Miami Hurricane.
Excuse you, former Florida Marlin.
Florida and Miami Marlin.
Back it up.
The first guy that we've had on that's been both, right? Both the Florida and Miami Marlin. We haven't had
Gaby, were you ever a Miami Marlin?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2012.
2012, yeah.
When they first opened the stadium.
Wow, I got to get back on Baseball Reference.
A man who needs no introduction, Gaby Sanchez. Gaby, thanks so much for joining the Mafia, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Fun to be a part of the Mafia right now. Time.
Gaby, you're close to the Marlins, man. We're obviously lifelong Marlins fans. It's been a fun month of June. It's parlayed into a nice month of July thus far. The Marlins 7 games under 500, but playing a lot better baseball going into the All-Star break. Gaby, you're close to the club. What can you tell us about the team? What can you tell us about the last month of baseball for the Miami Marlins?
I mean, it's been fun. It's kind of what the team has working for, right? Like Clayton McCullers said in the beginning of the year, he wanted his team to get like 5% better at the end of the season. And I feel like they're ahead of schedule on that aspect. They got a lot of young players. The starting pitching staff has been really good. They got Yuri back. That's been a big help. I think the biggest one was Edward Cabrera. Like with what he's been able to do in the starting rotation, I feel like he has finally come into his own, where the Marlins were expecting this out of him from the very beginning. Like analytically wise, if you look at the numbers, they're off the charts. The power changeup, he threw the changeup at 97 miles an hour like 2 starts ago. Like that's not a changeup. That's a sinker. But
Gaby, I don't think they were throwing fastballs that hard when you were playing.
No, that was like a hard fastball when I was playing. And this dude's throwing that as a changeup right now. Like he's averaging like 94 mile an hour changeups and they play. But I feel like he's finally gotten to the point where he's confident on the mound and he doesn't let like one hit get to him. And I feel like that's how he was early on in his career. Like somebody will get a hit and that was it. Like shoulders drop, just didn't feel like he can throw. Now he's finally developed into a pitcher. But you kind of look at the rest of the stats that they got along with the bullpen. Like I feel like they have a really good Ronnie Enriquez has been throwing the ball extremely well. Calvin Fauché, Anthony Bender. Like you get you get that win into that 7th inning, and you've got 3 dudes who can shut a game down. And I feel like that's kind of what they've been doing. And then you look on the offensive side, and they've got a lot of fun players. And I said it last year. Last year, I believe like in the beginning half of the season, they were averaging like a 2-hour and 20-minute game. It was go up there, swing early, often, 3-pitch innings, who cares? Like, get your swing off. Then all of a sudden, like Peter Bendix comes in, he makes some trades, he gets all these other younger guys, and these games started to go like 2-hour and 40 minutes, 2-hour and 50 minutes. And you're like, what's been the biggest change? Well, guys are actually competing. They weren't just going up there to swing at the first pitch. Like, you do have some guys who are aggressive, who will go up there and swing at the first pitch. But you have a lot more guys who are a little bit more patient, who don't care about hitting with 2 strikes, who make a pitcher work, get the pitcher out of there to get into their bullpen. They're one of the better teams in baseball too in like the 8th and 9th inning. Like they don't care about facing those, late relievers and closers. Like they'll do damage against those guys. Like I feel like they're playing with a chip on their shoulder now where they have come together as a team and they're like, dude, we're good. Yeah, we might be young and nobody might be giving us a chance, but who cares about the noise on the outside? It's about the noise on the inside. That's how baseball always is, right? You have a team that believes in one another and you guys compete for one another and you go out there and you play. More often than not, you're going to at least have a productive game. You might not win every single one, but you'll be in every single one.
Gaby, you alluded to the team being young and being resilient and not being afraid of these tight games or close games. The team right out of the gate, out of spring training, they started the season off pretty well. And they had an extended skid where they dropped to, I think it was 15 or 16 under 500. But then all of a sudden, they go on the 7-game
heater, yeah.
The 7-game heater. They win 11 straight or 12 straight road games. To me, that says a lot about their resilience as a young team that's understanding losing, but they're also already learning how to win. within the clubhouse, in the dugout, what's the vibe of their confidence? Like you mentioned it, they seem unfazed, but are they maturing faster than a lot of people have expected?
I mean, they're maturing faster than I expected. So, that I could definitely give you. I don't know. I feel like other people definitely did not have them anywhere near the way that they're playing right now. The only ones who believed it were the ones inside that clubhouse. And you're right. They started off out of the gate. It wasn't bad, but then all of a sudden they played tough competition too in that time where they did have that skid, where they played the Dodgers a couple different times. Not an easy team to play when you're young and you're still trying to learn yourself, right? Like you're trying to learn who you are. Your starting pitching staff, they're still coming back. Like you're talking about a starting pitching staff doing what they're doing right now without having like Sandy be that dominant Sandy that, people know he can be. So like imagine all of a sudden like Sandy comes back and now Sandy becomes second half where now he's hitting his spots and now he's dominant. Well, you've got some dudes in that starting rotation that are absolutely filthy, like up and down. You look at their roster, even with some guys getting injured, it doesn't matter. They have dudes that can throw. And I feel like with this team, especially on the offensive side, there were some growing pains, players of trying to figure out like, who are we, right? New coaching staff. What are they teaching? Do we trust in what they're saying? Do we kind of abide by their rules that they're telling us, hey, this is what we want you to do? Or do we just kind of go back to what got us to the big leagues, right? And I feel like they're buying into that program that has been set up for them of like, hey, let's try this. And they're seeing like, hey, you know what? We're actually having success doing that. And with that success, all of a sudden, now it brings out confidence. And I feel like that's been the biggest thing with this team. It's been the confidence factor of we believe that we're in every single game. And when you kind of look at it, even when they went through their streaks, a lot of games decided within 2 runs. Yeah. Like one hit here or there changes the outcome of those games. So they're starting to learn how to win those games rather than lose. And I feel like that's where that team is, where the Marlins now are starting to go with that upswing with a young, squad.
And Gaby, I think you mentioned something about confidence and learning how to win. I think the poster boy for confidence in this year's Marlins outfit is Kyle Stowers, right? Someone we got at the deadline last year, had his struggles when he first got called up and brought to the big leagues. It's been a complete 180. We've seen a totally different player. He's going to represent the Marlins in the All-Star game. What do you see out of Kyle Stowers and the biggest difference between the end of last year and the first half of this season?
I think he had himself a great offseason, and it was learning what was hard last year in the big leagues and what they were trying to do. What are pitchers trying to do to me to get me out? And then learn from that and kind of being like, okay, in this offseason, guess what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to learn how to hit the high fastball. That's the pitch that was killing him. It was that high fastball. He had more of that uppercut kind of swing going through the zone. Anything down in the zone, I'm going to power. But anything up, man, he just couldn't get to it. Everything was just by him, and they just kept feeding him letter high fastballs. Here's a four-seam fastball, letter high. You might clip one, but you're going to get out 15 of the other times, right? So went to the offseason, really worked on that high fastball velocity and get himself staying more on plane through that high fastball. And what ends up happening is now they try to throw him that pitch, and he understands, like, all I have to do is just touch it.
Yeah.
Guys are throwing 95, 96 miles an hour.
95 mile per hour changeups. Yeah.
Right. Like, if I just touch it and just take a good swing, I don't have to, try to swing to create a home run. I can just be nice and easy, and I can clip it, and it's going to go. And, you look at what he did against, Mason Miller, 101 mile an hour fastball up. Last year, could not touch that pitch. He would have it would just walk back to the dugout, dude. You're going to get 3 pitches. They're going to be fastballs right at the letters, and it's going to be strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You know that it's coming, and you still can't hit it. Really worked his tail off this offseason on being able to hit that pitch. And then once he learned, I can hit that pitch, now he has the confidence, and we go back to always confidence, right? Now I have the confidence. to be able to hit that pitch. I know that I could hit it. I hit it off of one of the best pitchers in the game, one of the best closers in the game. Now, anybody else, that's not going to be hard anymore. Like, I can do it. And I feel like that was the biggest thing. And you look at that trade, like, Norby was the face of that trade.
Yeah.
Carmen Norby was the face. Like, Stowers was like, I'm not going to say he was a throw-in, but like, it was just like another player for that trade. Like, Connor Norby was the main person in that trade. And Connor Norby is really good. I mean, what Peter Bendix did for Trevor Rogers to get those two dudes,
it's a heist.
Trevor Rogers,
this weekend, isn't it? Is this weekend potentially revenge game for the three of them?
Oh, that's right.
I think Rogers lines up against facing the Marlins this weekend in Baltimore.
Very interesting.
So
it's the rare triple revenge game
on that one.
Which organization was trying to get rid of the others? we really don't know. Gaby, the elephant in the room for all Marlins fans, the hardest part of this season, without a doubt, has been Sandy Alcantara. He's every Marlins fan's favorite player the last 4 or 5 seasons, and it's been a tough watch. This week now in Cincinnati, Sandy gave up another 5 earned runs. It's been a difficult stretch for him. In your experience in the bigs, when a pitcher on your team is going through that sort of rough patch, what are you doing as a teammate to communicate with them to maybe lift them up, or are you leaving them alone and leaving it to the manager?
Man, that's a tough one, right? Because Sandy is the leader, right? So it's hard to go to a leader. Remember, too, it's a young team, right? So, like, to try to go to the veteran guy who was a Cy Young Award winner and try to, like, talk him up or try to tell him something, not easy to do, right? If I was on the team with Sandy, like, I would just remind Sandy, like, I would put on a loop and be like, dude, this is you, right? I'll show him his Cy Young award. I would show him when he was pitching in the Cy Young. Show him those feel-good videos. Like, those of us that played the game, there was nothing better than going back. Like, when I was playing, right, I would come home knowing that I had a 3-for-4 game with a home run and be like, ESPN. You know, like, it's what you did. You wanted that little bit of a feel-good, like, where they were talking, like, there was times that, like, if things were going wrong, like, I would look at good videos, right? Like, look at myself, you know, crushing pitches, right? Like, trying to gain back that confidence. With Sandy, I think there's a difference there because the hard work is there. Yeah. So, like, you can't be like, dude, you got to work harder, because nobody works harder on that team than Sandy. There's nobody that can even compete with him in the weight room. So it's not that aspect, right? So I talked to Moskis, which is the pitching coach, and one of the biggest things is when you're coming back from Tommy John, it's the execution. Yeah. That is the hardest thing to come back from. Like, velocity, gonna be there, 98, 100, no problem. Like, he throws that, but it's about the execution of his pitches and where he's throwing them. Like, I'm trying to throw my sinker down and my sinker's saying up. And when you throw a sinker up, it ain't going to sink. It's going to move more side to side. It's going to catch a lot of barrels. So for Sandy right now, like, what they've been working on with him a little bit more than anything else is, like, going to the bullpen. And when he's doing his bullpen sessions, like, everything is to the outside of a righty. Right. So, like, I'm trying to, like, get extension and finish my pitches, everything away to a righty. That way I know that if I'm able to throw that pitch, then the ones on the inside part of the plate are going to be easy. And when you look at Sandy starts, like, you'll see it. Like, all of a sudden, like, he'll have one inning that it just really just gets away from him. And then he's nails for 4 innings, right? Like, it's just one inning where all of a sudden, like, he's just not getting where he wants to get to. And that's where the bad stuff's happening. And I feel like, too, it could be mental, right? Like, all of a sudden, like, you give up 1 run and you're like, great, is this going to be the inning where I give up 5? Yeah. I feel like for Sandy, it's one of those of when he finally gets that aha of, like, oh, there it is. Like, that's the feeling that I've been looking for, and I finally felt it, and I finally got it. And then being able to replicate that scenario, then he's going to be completely fine because the stuff is there. I feel like for him, he's just overthinking it right now. And when you overthink it, just like in hitting, you're not going to have that success.
It's going to click. I'm a firm believer, to your point. Like, this guy's the hardest worker in the room. He's a Cy Young winner. It's not going to be a Sandy thing. It's not going to be a hard work. It's not going to be, one of those things where you say, hey, oh my gosh, he kind of lost it because he didn't do X, Y, Z. He's doing all the right things. And at some point it's going to click. And I think, you got to stick with him. This is your horse. This is your guy. This is your Cy Young winner. This is the guy you put all your eggs in his basket. And you say, look, if anyone's going to figure it out, it's Sandy Alcantara.
Well, not only that too, right? You have a guy that basically follows him around. Their best friends in Yuri Perez.
Yeah.
And with Yuri Perez coming around, like, don't you want him to learn from Sandy on how to work hard, how to hit, like, be in the weight room, how to lift, how to get strong, how to stay focused, how to be, like, all of those things come into play with him. And so it's not just like the pitching aspects of it. It's like what he's doing off the field, what he's doing in the weight room, that now you as a pitcher, you can't just be like, oh, dude, today I'm going to take a day off. Because you look in the other locker and you're like, oh, man, like, if that dude ain't taking a day off, I can't take a day off and I have to go over there and have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. And, like, he does bring that to the table.
Yeah. Gaby, another bright spot this year has been Agustín Ramírez, right behind the plate. He's been fun to watch. look at him light up. Now we're talking about hitting. Now we
no more pitching talk. Yeah. Let's get into it.
Gaby, when you see Agustín Ramírez, what is it about this kid coming up and having so much success as he's had, as quickly as he's had, playing a premium position behind the dish?
You know what? He's a sponge. Like, he wants to learn. He is not just going up there and content with, like, the numbers or what he's doing. Like, I will sit there and I'll talk with him and he'll come up to me like, hey, Gaby, what's up? Like, how's it going? And we'll just start talking about hitting. And I'll talk to him about, like, okay, what are the guys trying to do to you right now? Like, how are they throwing to you? What are they trying to do? What are they seeing, right? Like, because he'll be like, oh, they're throwing me, sliders away right now. And I'm like, well, why are they throwing you sliders away? And he was like, oh, because they're getting me out. I'm like, yeah, well, why are they getting you out? Right? It's like that learning.
Yeah.
You're trying to get those gears going for him so that he all of a sudden, he's just like, oh, yeah, that's what it is. You're right. So, like, okay, why are they throwing you sliders away? Okay, because they're getting you out. Like, why are they getting you out? Well, it's because I'm swinging out those pitches that are off the plate. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? And then, like, I'm trying to get him because, I'm opening up on my front side. I'm like, yeah, there you go, man. If you're opening them on your front side, like, these are big league pitchers. Right, and that's a big league catcher behind the plate. And just like you are looking for something that hitter's doing, pitcher's doing the same exact thing. And if they're going to throw you a slider and they see that front hip open up, they know, like, okay, just don't leave the slider arm side or it might get hit a mile. But if I'm able to execute or get it off the plate away, I'm going to get you to swing and miss, right? So then it's like, okay, now what do you do? Now that you know that you're doing that, you know that you're opening up, what are you now going to do to combat what they're doing? And he was like, oh, I'm going to, like, think more up the middle, and that way, like, I can stay on those pitches. I'm like, there you go. Like, if you're learning,
light bulb,
you're learning, like, that back and forth action. But other players don't do that, right? Like, players just don't come up and, like, hey, let's talk about hitting or let's talk about stuff. Like, he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He is a fun dude to watch. I mean, the power is real. The swings, I mean, I don't think anybody takes harder swings on the team than
they
him.
are violent, man.
But he's making contact. Yeah. So, like, the swings are hard, but he's making contact. The exit kilos are ridiculous.
Yeah,
like, ridiculous. He's a good kid.
What's he so upset about when he's swinging, man? It's angry, venomous when he's taking hacks.
Gus Boss, baby.
We talked about this the other day. It's like Dan Ugla. You remember Dan Ugla, like, especially with, like, the helicopter finish? Like, Ramírez does the same exact thing. Like, they're not just going up to just, like, oh, I'm just trying to make contact. Like, no, I am trying to absolutely obliterate this baseball. And, like, wherever it goes, as long as I'm absolutely crushing this thing. Smile on his face all the time, like, works his tail off too. What I like about him too, like, he'll run hard. Like, he ain't fast, but he's going to give you what he got. And you can appreciate that as, like, a fan watching, an ex-player looking, like, you're like, yeah, this guy's not fast. He's going to be out, but he's at least running.
Yeah.
And he's doing it from the catching position. Yeah. And from the catching position too, like, he is getting better. He is getting better, every single day. He's working on his craft every single day. They'll go out and they'll have, the pitchers do live beat, like, bullpens now on the field. where they have like the cameras and they'll show, the spin off the fingers and all that kind of tracking stuff. And this is during bullpens. And he'll catch those like out on the field with guys stepping in and hitting, just working on his craft, understanding that if he wants to continue, getting better in the game, that's one of the aspects that he needs to work on, and he's doing it.
Gaby, there's one thing the three of us have in common, Javi, you and myself, is that we all grew up playing baseball in Miami. And I'm going to speak for Javi here. The two of us are absolutely and obviously jealous of how your life in Miami and your baseball career, your broadcast career has turned out. You're a Miami kid. You played high school baseball at Brito. You play for the U. You play for the Marlins.
Drafted by the Marlins.
Not only do you play for the Marlins, you're drafted by the Marlins. You are an all-star. Like, I was misinformed. You were a Florida Marlin and a Miami Marlin. What is 8 to 12-year-old Gaby Sanchez? What would you in your childhood be thinking, saying if you were to tell them now, like, hey, look at me. Look how this turned out.
I'll be honest, my 8 to 12-year-old would say, I told you.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, that was when I was growing up, everybody would ask me, like, all right, what do you want to be? I'm like, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. And they're like, all right, well, that's really hard to do. What else do you want to be? And I'm like, no, that's
a broadcaster. And then that happened too.
Like, well, I mean, the broadcaster comes from after doing all the stuff. But like, that was the goal. The goal was never anything other than that. And the work that I put in was for that, like there was no video games when I was growing up. It was outside playing, like outside hitting, outside doing stuff. And the goal in mind was that I always wanted to be the best for myself. And it wasn't trying to be the best out there, right? It was trying to be the best of what I can control. And I can only control the work that I was putting in and what I was doing, right? So I wanted to make sure like that I could look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and be like, okay, you gave it everything you had and you did everything that you could possibly do to get to that point or not get to that point. But at least at the end of the day, be like, I gave it all. Like I left it all out there and I busted my tail and I did everything that I, wanted to do in this sport. And I was fortunate enough, like you said, like not many players get to, go to the University of Miami. To be honest with you, I was going to go to UF. I was going to Florida.
Whoa.
I was a week away from going to Florida because UM like never even talked to me. I think I had one call from UM.
Wow. Sounds like classic Jim Morris, man.
Like,
come
doing
on.
My stuff. I got one call. I had Florida that was giving me a full ride. I had Clemson that was giving me like that I was going to go visit. Tennessee that I was going to go visit because Miami never said anything. And then all of a sudden, a week before I was going to Florida to basically just be like, I guess I'm going to be a Gator, UM calls and Coach Morris was like, hey, we want you to come by the office as an unofficial visit and just to talk. And I went over there and they were like, yeah, we want you to be, a Hurricane. And I was like, well, this is easy. All right, I guess I'm going to be a Hurricane.
Coach Morris is persuasive, dude. He'd probably lock the door behind him. Gaby ain't leaving until he signs that letter. He's coming to
I mean, it was not like that, but pretty much. It was like he gave us the offer and then like I'm just kind of sitting there with my dad thinking like, I didn't even think that they wanted me, like where's this all come from? Like I had one conversation with them, right? Like, all right. And my dad was like, can we talk? And they left us inside of, Three's office and they all left. So it was like they all left and me and my dad in Three's office, I'm looking around like, what is going on right now?
That office is definitely bugged, dude. I think every recruit has been in there alone and there for sure are microphones in there. Morris knows exactly what's going on in that office.
Javi and his dad tried to negotiate and they're like,
that didn't go well.
You're either going to be a Caney or not, brother.
Gaby,
well, we did negotiate and it worked out for me. Sorry.
Gaby, one thing Toad forgot to mention in his lead-in, you are 2011, you were an all-star for the Marlins, which is, again, that's like a pinnacle. No one can ever take that away. That must have been a tremendous moment. Gaby, it's all-star weekend coming up here Monday and Tuesday of next week. This all-star game's going to be in Atlanta. talk to us about your All-Star game. We looked at the rosters before this, absolutely loaded rosters. I mean, as a kid, I would have shown up there. My jaw would have been dropped. I would have known what to do. Like, how did you walk into that clubhouse? How was that weekend for you and your family?
That is the same as you as a kid. Like really, that's what it was. Like I walked in, I'm like, I mean, I know that my name is on that locker, but then you're looking around, you're like, holy moly. Like there's just dudes on every team that you're like, oh yeah, you were my favorite player. Like Albert Puller, yeah, you're my favorite player. Like, and you're just going around, you're looking at all these dudes, and then you're talking with guys that, Phillies guys that you were playing with all the time, and you're talking with them, and you're kind of getting to know these starting pitchers that you like. All you did was just compete against them, and now you're sitting in a dugout and you're talking with them like if it's just normal. And then they're like, of course, like as soon as we finish talking, like, yeah, but next week when we play, you just know that we're trying to, take you out. Like that's how it was. But the surreal moment of being inside a clubhouse with the talent that's there. And like you always have some goals, right? When you're playing, you're one of my biggest goals was to be an all-star, because that's how, like, not only did I make it to the big leagues, but like I was at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
For like, even if it was for 1 year, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You were there, you got in, you were an all-star. I got the ring. Like everything about it was just like a cool moment. Like so cool that like it almost went by so quick that you kind of turn around and you're like, wait, did we just have the All-Star game and like the All-Star stuff? Like, did that finished already? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it was a blur, and how quick it just went, but how cool it was to just feel that moment. And there's Stowers is going to be that person this year where he's going to go in and he's going to feel that like, whoa, like this is a crazy moment to experience.
Well, Gaby, thank you so much for joining us, man. We could talk with you probably forever. But we really appreciate you hopping on with the Mafia, man. And before you do log off, I'm going to go off script here. I'm going to ask you a very specific question. When I was a senior in high school, you had a meet and greet at Hugo Boss in Dadeland Mall. Do you remember that?
Of course I do. Not many people came. But I got a free suit, so I was happy.
You know why I remember? Because I was there. And I took a picture.
You were the one of the only like 10 people that came by.
Yeah, man.
I got paid and I got a free suit. I'm like, this is great.
It's amazing.
I didn't get a free suit, but I got a free photo. So I wanted to see if you still remember that, man. And it's one of my fondest Marlins memories because you were one of my favorite players, local kid, obviously, all those reasons. But I remember, I don't know if my dad heard it on like 560 WQAM or something, and he's like, get your ass in the car. We're going to Dadeland. Gaby Sanchez is doing a meet and greet. I'm like, oh my God, sure. And I'm like a lanky senior in high school. I have like a bowl haircut. It's an awful photo, but I hopefully next Saturday, if you're in town, if you're broadcasting the games, we're having an event, the Mafia Meetup against the Royals. We have our own section out in the outfield. So if you have a moment next week, this is an open invite to join us at our meetup. But again, Gaby, thank you so much. I hope we can talk again, whether it's here or at a Hugo Boss. But we genuinely appreciate it, man.
No, guys, hey, thank you so much for having me. A lot of fun. You guys are awesome. You guys ever want me to come back on, just say the word.
Appreciate that, Gaby.